Seriously, but I told her, I said, I don't know where you're going. I'm staying here. She left. But what I was going to say is that when I came into that church, and I was getting ready to preach that morning, and I went up on the pulpit. Now this woman, this is the same woman, but this is before she said she was leaving. Okay? She came in on a cart, you know, one of those four-wheel carts, had to come in, you know, drive it, motorized. Yeah, a scooter, that's what you call it. I got one of them at home, except it's the kind you sit in, it's the hover ramp. It's not the kind you drive like this, you know, it's like you sit in. Yeah, we're going to play. He'll get in his electronic car and I'll get in mine and we'll go drive. Yeah. But this happened now. God struck me dead. It happened. Before she ever said all that stuff to me, we were in service on a Sunday morning. I got up and I was going to speak. When I got up there, I didn't even open my mouth. I looked back and the lady was sitting in the back and her daughter was sitting there beside her, her son-in-law, her two grandsons, and one of their wife, and then that was it. They were all sitting on one row. And her daughter goes, "Oh, Mama!" like that, and I'm standing there. I'm looking back, and all of a sudden I see her face. And I'm going to tell you something. I have seen the face of people that are dying. I've seen it in my daughter. And the scared look that comes across their face, you don't know what it is. Okay? Unless you've cheated as many times as I have, you don't know what it is. Now, I'm not saying I'm nothing. Don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you, I have many times. At least 3 or 4 in my life, and I'm not that old yet. I may make it another year or two. I hope. I'm trying. But I remember seeing it in my daughter's face and eyes. And I knew that was it. I looked at that lady and she had the same look. I mean, she was just petrified. You could see it all in her face, and she was there just shaking like this, you know. And I'm like, the fear just grabbed me like, Tony, what in the world? What are you going to do? I mean, the fear that comes over you when you see something like that, especially in the middle of service, you ain't got 20 people and one of them's about to die. Seriously. I know it's bad, but it's true. And so then what I did is all of a sudden I'm sitting there afraid, and the Spirit of God rose up in me and said, "I tell you what you're going to do. You're going to go back there and you're going to get the church around her. You're going to pray for her. That's what you're going to do." So I went back there. I did. I laid hands on her, and the church come around. We started praying, and all of a sudden, about 15, 20 minutes later, the woman come out of it. She was fine. She was great. I went on and preached the message, got done, went out to eat that day. Yep. Now, what I'm telling you is that's the same woman that came to me and said, "We don't like what you're doing." Now, do you think for a minute that she was telling what she's seen and heard? No. I don't think so. She didn't want no part of what she'd seen and heard. She'd just let her lay there and die. You know what? I've seen people raised from the dead, no kidding. I have. God tell me. You know, I'm getting on to where I'm going, but that's okay. But the church is almost stopped. But I'll tell you something. I backslid for about 2 years. I've been saved about 30 there the next year. January 22nd, next year will be 30 years. But I backslid in that time about 2 years. Ain't nobody ever done that in here, right? Y'all stay just 100%, boy. You on fire. You wouldn't even know which way's the right or the left, just as long as you're in it. You ain't never done that. I didn't think so. I could tell by looking the other night. I was preaching at the church, and I looked across and I said, "There ain't nobody in here ever been a sinner." They ain't. I mean, one of the ladies there now, she's a godly lady, love her to death. Wished I had a whole church full like that lady. You know, looked at her and I said, "Sister Joyce, I can't see you ever being a sinner. I just can't." She just died laughing. You know, it's like, right? You know, yeah. I mean, how could some people you could just never see as being a sinner? But anyway, I forgot where I am now. Do I? Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm here. I know I'm here. I just forgot where I was going. Well, yeah, praise from the dead. There you go. Thank you. I have so many different things going on in my head, I can't keep up with half of what I got. I'm dead serious.
I can't keep up either.
I know, even my wife, did she tell me talking about him? I don't think that was it. You know? But this guy, let me tell you, now this is what happened. God spoke to me in a parking lot about this man's uncle and told me, said, you tell him that I'm bringing him back from the dead. I said, yeah, right. I'm not telling him. Because you know what? If I tell him that and it don't happen, God, you're going to look bad. Yeah, that's what I was arguing with him. You're going to look bad, God, if I tell him that and it don't happen. The whole time he's saying, yeah, you just don't want to look bad. That's what the problem is. You just came back, now you're going to look goofy, you know. But I looked at him finally after about 5 times him telling me. And I told him, I said, your uncle's coming back from the dead. He said, Tony, there ain't no way. He said, there ain't no way. There's little to no faith here. Okay? It's not like he's saying, yeah, I believe God. No, he's saying, there ain't no way. He said, Tony, he laid in the floor for 3 days. They took him home. And his family gave him up for dead and told the doctor, said, don't put him on a respirator. Just go ahead and let him die. So you tell me, is there any faith there? Where's it at? But I looked at him and I said, he's going to live. He's going to live. He said, Tony, he's starting to stink inside the room. He's turning blue.
Don't matter.
I said, he's going to live. Once you put it out there, you better keep saying it. Once you tell it, you better keep telling it. Because sometimes ain't nobody believes you, but just you. And you better stand on it because ain't nobody else doing it. Come on. I know, see, if God speaks it into your heart and you know He did, then you better stand on it.
Yes.
High water.
Yes.
Stand on it. If the flood comes, who's going to take care of it?
Yes.
You know He will.
Yes.
But we went to work. Then about a day or two later, I asked him, he goes, Tony, it's bad. I done told you. He's dead. I said, okay. He's going to live. You know, and he kept saying, he's going to die. I said, he's going to live. You know what? And he told me, he said, I'm going to raise him back from the dead just to show him, the nephew, that I'm God. And I can do what I want. That's what he told me. He said, that's why you tell him. So I did. Went on, I don't know. I'd ask him every now and then it went on for about, I guess, a month later. I forgot all about it. I mean, that's sad. Somebody's dead, dying, you just forget all about it. But you know what? You get so wrapped up in what you're doing and all your stuff, you know. Satan wants that. Because if he can get you looking at what you got going on rather than what you need to have going on, then he's done his job. But about a month after that, I looked at him and I said, whatever happened to your uncle? You know, because I figured he's going to say, he's dead. Because that's what he'd been telling me. He said, the craziest thing happened. I'm thinking, okay, here it comes. You know what I mean? He said, the craziest thing happened. He said, one day he just sat up in bed and said, I'm going home. What am I doing in here? I'm dead serious.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Tell them those things that you've seen and heard.
Yes.
If you hear it, say it. Hear it first. Don't just go around saying any old thing, but if you hear it, say it. Because God's speaking it. If you're His, He's talking to you about things. And He wants you to tell people, because if you tell them, then you'll impact them some way. I looked at him and I said, now, let me tell you why He raised him up. And he just stared at me. I said, I'm going to tell you why. The very first day He told me to tell you He's going to live, I'm going to tell you now why He told me to tell you. He said, because He wants to show you that He's God. And He does what He wills, when He wills. And you need to know that. That man's life, it turned around pretty much. You know, his daddy was dying. He come to me and he said, my daddy's dying. You know, he wanted me to say he's going to live. I'm like, I can't say it. You know, and we started praying. I spoke to him and said,